Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the ammo nerd and the king of 5.7x28mm. We have a 5.7x28mm review today. In full transparency, Fiocchi USA, yes, their US marketing rep told me that's how you say their name. So if that's wrong, someone please correct us in the comments below. This 40 grain full metal jacket range dynamics claim to fame is its lower entry price point per round compared to other offerings in the market. We're looking at around 50 to 55 cents each in this 150 round bulk pack compared to, say, our American Eagle TMJ or our SS197, both of which are actually still loaded by Fiocchi. Those are right around anywhere from $30 to $35 to even $40 plus per box, depending on where you either source them from online or even at your local gun store. Let's throw these guys on the table and talk about what we're going to do today. Now, if this is the first time you're coming across my channel, I do things a little different than a lot of other YouTubers. I'm here to give you guys as much information as possible when it comes to subject matter, especially our niches like body armor and 5.7x28mm. For our 5.7 testing, we have barrel lengths from 4.7 inches all the way up to including 16. We have a very wide spread of the various different 5.7 guns that have been introduced to the market in the last 5 years. I think the only ones I don't own yet are the MPA, Mac 11 style 5.7, the Excel Arms variants, and the new Ruger LC Charger. Otherwise, we've got our FN57, our P90 SBR, our Ruger LC, our PSA Rocks, and even the new Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7. It's around 75 to 80 degrees outside today. We have a Proconal digital DLX at about 12 feet. We're going to collect the velocity across all those different barrel lengths. We'll probably only highlight a few of them in our actual video footage, and we'll put a summary spreadsheet at the end that will list them all out so you have a nice little sheet to look at towards the end. We changed up the camera angles for this one just in case the sun were to get into our eyes. But we'll start with our shortest barrel length. This is our 4.7 inch Palmetto State Armory Rock. These are very affordable compared to the FN and even the Ruger and M&P offerings. I do believe you can get some of these at times at Blemished at $3.99. So far, it's been very rock solid. I have two samples, a threaded barrel with optics and this standard model with the gray frame right here. I need to finish the review up at some point, but I think overall this has to be the most ergonomic, in my opinion, for our grip. I love the extra long magazine release on here. Grab one of the magazines. We have the XS Arms magazine extension on this mag. Got all 10 shots there. Now, from the get-go, after I pulled a couple of these, I noted that the Fiocchi FMJ has more engagement in our case mouth. That's where I see a lot of failures with our American Eagle TMJ, is because this bullet is so short that there's not a lot of the bullet in the case neck, and because they don't have a collet crimp on these bullets. I'm not sure why they've never added that after these, 15 plus years. Any large bolts, kind of like the P90 or some of the AR-57s, can put extra pressure on that tip of that bullet, and if it isn't perfectly aligned and then when it feeds into the gun, that's when we can get bullet setback, where the bullet gets pushed into the case all the way, then dumps powder in the gun, or it bends it and jams. So at least from the get-go, our Fiocchi has more of the bullet into our case mouth, which should translate into a little more neck tension. And now on to our 5.2 inch threaded barrel. This is our Palmetto State Armory Rock. This has our threaded factory barrel, 1/2x28 threads. We have the optic cut up top. We have the Holosun 407 up there as well. I picked that up from PSA. Nice little red dot. I do believe this sample of ours has about 1,000 rounds through it. And now for Mr. Fancy, this is our FN57 Mark II. This has our FN Specialties DT Chaos slide cover and optic mount on here. We got a Trijicon RMR. This actually has Elite's accurizing package as well, and their flat face trigger along with their, I'm gonna murder this, tritium night sights. This has our B&T threaded barrel in it, or AKA Jarvis. We have our Smith & Wesson M&P 5.7. This is our newest addition to our 5.7 collection. What makes this particular handgun unique is that it is gas operated. There is a sleeve and a port in the barrel towards the end that chambers the gas, and there's a little locking lug on there. Pretty neat little pistol. Trigger isn't bad. It is hammer fired. I will say from the get-go, I only have about 200 rounds through this. This is probably the least ergonomic, in my opinion, of the 5.7s. The grip is very wide because of the hammer spring that runs down the back. The magazine release could be a lot larger, more towards the back, kind of like the Rock, so it's easier to disengage when you need to drop the magazine. Magazines are very hard to load. You have to make sure you slap them in there. Now, however, with all that being said, this is one of the flattest shooting 5.7 handguns that I've shot so far. And now on to our CMMG MK57. This works on any standard AR-15 lower. Takes their proprietary magazines. This is the Gen 2 variant. I do believe it's only 32 rounds versus the original 40. But so far, I really like this particular package. This runs on their radial delay blowback. We've got an AIM single stage trigger in there. Got a primary arms 1 to 6 up top. Yankee Hill single port QD muzzle brake up front. We don't need 6X at this distance. And now for our OG, this is our FN P90 or PS90 SBR. This is a 10.4-inch barrel. We have some goodies up top from HB Industries. This is their 1913 rail. This is their optic mount for the Holosun AEMS, and we have a Surefire, I think it's Mini Scout Pro on the right flashlight mount. Very nice little package. I did have the Gen 2 Cyclops 1X up here, but I think I'm liking the Holosun up here a lot better. A little more field of view. And now for our 12-inch, this is from Panzer Arms or AR-57. This is the ULT upper. We feed from our PS90 magazines. You can use any standard AR-15 lower as long as you use their buffer. Our magazine release is right here. It's ambidextrous for either side. The charging handle is on the right side, but it can be swapped to the left. Got a SIG Romeo 5 up top, got the Maximum Defense pistol brace on here for now. What's neat about this package is that it does drop the rounds out the bottom, so I hollowed out a PMag, and I can hold about 70 pieces in a 30 rounder. Got a Rave 140 from Faxon in there. And our final 16-inch, I picked this up not too long ago. This is our Ruger LC carbine. Pretty much has the same fire control group as the Ruger 5.7 pistol. Has a 2-piece bolt, has a charging handle up front, non-reciprocating that we can change to either side. We've got the F5 manufacturing 5-round magazine extension here. Ruger did just release their LC Charger variant, which has a 10-inch barrel. You know, it's a pistol, it doesn't have a stock on the back, but it does have the pick rail, so you could easily SBR that thing. That one may be a better buy, in my opinion, mainly because I think with 5.7, our optimized barrel length is, you know, that 10 to 11 inches or so, and once you get into 16, you're not really gaining a whole lot. Read 'em and weep, space cowboys. Here is our Fiocchi Range Dynamics 40 grain full metal jacket. At 25 yards, we're using the Ruger LC carbine in our lead sled, Hydro Sled 2 from Caldwell, with an 18 power first focal plane scope. I've got all those zooms in there. You can see the target fairly well. Our first group, 1.048 inches. Our second group, 1.079. Our third group, 1.076 inches. Very consistent. We get a couple flyers there. We threw our JK Armament rimfire kit on there. Our group, 0.735 inches and a very good 0.655 inches. In comparison, here is our Hornady VMAX and our SS197, which is also loaded by Fiocchi. 0.783 without the can and 0.529 with the can. And then we also threw the American Eagle TMJ on there. We had 0.627 without the can and 0.831 with the can. So relatively speaking, a very accurate load, at least at 25 yards. In the past, I've opened up 5.7 at 100, and we get about a 3-inch group from the LC from Ruger. It's about 90 degrees outside today, if I didn't already say that. Oh. Ooh, this is gassy to the face. Woo. Ah. Well, everyone, it's about time to close out another ammunition test out here at the range. Again, I'd like to thank Fiocchi USA, who provided us with 450 rounds of that bulk pack of 5.7x28mm for us to shoot with no strings attached. We've fired approximately, I think, 450 rounds through all of our different guns throughout a couple of days, and we only had 2 failures, of which I believe are likely magazine related from firing suppressed. We had that one stovepipe in our rock, and then we had a failure to chamber in our Ruger LC. Otherwise, we had velocities right in line with what we've been seeing with our American Eagle TMJ. I would like to see the velocity minimum bumped up to around 1,700 feet per second in our shortest barrel length, but again, this is more driven towards plinking and range fun than using it for self-defense or personal protection. So I'm going to guess they want to maximize their cost of goods sold, so their powder charge isn't going to be very much higher. Our bullet profile is almost identical from what I can see from any of my macros to the American Eagle TMJ, except we have an actual exposed lead base, so maybe the jacket thickness on this particular design is different, and it is a little bit longer. And looking at some of the other macros from when we pulled this, you can see that there's a lot more engagement of our bullet in our case mouth, which means when we have heavy bolts like our P90, where we're relying on that magazine to get that feed angle 100% right all of the time, if there's any extra force put on that bullet, that it's not going to shove that bullet in the case and cause any failures like we've seen in the past with the American Eagle TMJ. Personally, from all of my testing over all the years, I feel that FN or Fiocchi USA should add a collet crimp to our case neck, and that would greatly increase the reliability of any of our rounds when we're firing them in guns without that feed ramp, or we're using that P90 magazine. As far as accuracy goes, we were right in line with SS197 and American Eagle TMJ. 25 yards is where I call it for 5.7. I've done 100 yards before, but the group sizes open up and it's just kind of a waste of my time at that point. Your mileage may vary. You certainly can shoot better than I can. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. A horsefly just hit me in the face. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into them. Number one is my Patreon and Subscribe Star fans. I have a link tree in the description below with various different ways to either contact me or support me. I'm on the quest for owning all the different 5.7 guns, and feeding them is not cheap, so any help I can get is greatly appreciated. Number two is Fiocchi USA. Again, in full transparency, provided us with 450 rounds of that to shoot with no strings attached. Plus, I bought another 150 rounds from PSA to supplement that as well. And of course, number three is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.